Hey guys, welcome to my stream, welcome to my channel, and what is probably the final episode, working on this guy right here. That's our F-16C/N Aggressor by Tamiya, just as an airplane's taken off. So we'll load the intro and we'll start from here. Well guys, now that the airplane is gone and I've put my coffee aside where I'm not going to spill it again, we're almost done. I can see the finish line. We're almost finished here. The last thing we need to do is put on our ordnance or missiles and stuff like that. So we have this guy, he's all ready to go, he's waiting patiently. Now in the instructions for this particular plane, Tamiya doesn't have us drill out any extra holes in the bottom of the wings, and yet they still put the missiles into the kit, and it's because Tamiya uses very similar or even the exact same sprues on very similar models. So what I did is the actual ordnance that they call out for on this plane I found is a little bit boring. There's only a couple of things on it and that's it. And I've seen, like I said, posted up in maybe my, not last episode, but the one before, some still pictures I have of F-16s with this camouflage with a lot more ordnance on it than what this kit is showing, okay? If you go by the instructions, they only want you to put on the sidewinders and the ACMI pod. And in fact, you only use one sidewinder because the ACMI pod goes on one edge of the wing and the sidewinder goes on the other. And then they want you to put the, what do they call this one? The AN/ALQ-188 jamming pod. They want you to put that in the middle, at the bottom of the plane in the belly. And that is it. That's literally all you do. So you put the pod in the middle there. You put one sidewinder on and you put the that guy there on the right, and that's it. So 1 and 2, and that's it. And that's all you do. And it's really kind of boring. So I went and I looked up another Tamiya F-16 model, and that one happens to be the F-16J Block 50 is the one that I looked up. I looked up the instructions online and it shows all the missiles and everything like that. And so I went and assembled them and painted them up, and I've got them ready to go just like this. We are going to be adding a few more missiles and stuff to the bottom of my aircraft. Now this one I'm kind of I am not sure if I'm actually going to put this one on. I don't think I am. I have seen it, but this one would go in the belly, and I want to put this one on just because this jamming pod is really unique. I've never seen this one on any other plane, so I'm going to use this one instead of this one. I've seen this one on like F-14s and F-15s even. Yeah, but I'm not going to use that. I'll leave that for possibly another build at another time. So I'll switch the camera and we'll get started on here, okay? Alright, so as you can see, we've got our little plethora of missiles here and pods and things like that. So like I said, what I did is I actually referred to the instruction kit of that Block 50, the F-16J, and I drilled holes here and here for our pods that are going to go on in here, and on this side also here and here. Okay, I only drilled one hole because lining up 2 pins is hard enough. So what I did is I cut off the rear pins on these, so I only have 1 pin, and that's going to go just like this if I get that lined up, and that's just going to go like that, just like that, and that'll be done. Alright, so let's move these out of the way for now. This guy is going to go in the middle. Remember, we got our great big hole here that we drilled a long time ago. And that's for that big fat stub. And that's going to go right there like that. Okay. So, I want to try and keep this guy sort of level. Let's see. Too much. Will this work? That'll work, but I gotta put something under the other side. There we go. He's gonna stay kind of level now. Let's get these out of the way. These guys go in these little tips. It's got that big long tab, and that goes in right there. Just like that. Okay. So let's get some glue. And I'm going to change my glasses. Okay. So start with this guy. He goes in the middle. So run some glue on there. Get him as straight as possible before I actually put him down. There we go. It's at this point where I pick up the plane and see how straight I have it. It's easy to put these things on crooked. There's one. Alright. I'll go to these guys next. Go on to the edge of each wing. Again, wanting to make sure they're straight up and down. There we go. Okay. Having your plane actually rest so that it's rather level it helps out a lot when you put these things on, because if your plane is tilted, they're going to want to tilt also. Well, how do I know that? I know that from many years of experience putting these things on airplanes. And that one's pretty much straight up and down just as it is. Don't have to fiddle with it. Next we have these guys. These guys are going to go to the next inboard ones, like that. These ones are a little harder to line up because it's got this big fat area on it. Alright, where's my other one? There's this guy. Go. Make sure this is lined up straight. There we go. Okay. Pick this up. It's back under the wing. Alright. Okay. Our fuel tanks. Fuel tanks, again, only had the one pin because I had to shave off the other because I only did it once. Fuel tanks, you know, you might think, oh, they can put them anywhere, but because of this long pod, it has to go on the inside like this, right, just like that. So you can see I already pre-painted them. They look all nice and dirty, right? Nice and dirty on the bottom, streaking along the side. Because they're fuel tanks, and fuel tanks are meant to be dropped and stuff like that. You can see I've broken my little nose thing off. That kind of stuff happens to me all the time if I don't wait until the very end of it. But that's all right. Okay. First fuel tank going on. Again, got to make sure it's straight. And that's pretty straight. Second fuel tank. Here we go. Fuel tanks are on. All right. So, again, we have our AIM-120C AMRAAMs. So, the kit did not come with the decals for the stripes and stuff like that. So what I did is I looked at reference photos and I found equally just as many AMRAAMs that you find online. They have the yellow stripe here and then two brownish color ones. And you find ones that have all three blue. I went with all three blue simply because the kit comes with blue for the sidewinders, and so I figured that it kind of matches. These guys I'm going to put on the rails, on the outside rails like this, or sorry, like this. They're going to go out here like that, okay? And I'm going to put the sidewinders on these ones, okay? So, we'll do sidewinders first. Two little notches line up with two little pads on there. And I just realized I cleaned up my nubs on this one, but not on this one. I did not clean up my nub marks on this one, so I need to do that. First, I'll put the sidewinder on here. Some glue on there. Unfortunately, the pod is loose. So now I've got two things I need to line up. I need to line up the pod and the sidewinder. The sidewinder is okay on the pod. Okay. This pod I'm actually going to have to take off. It's very unfortunate because I just glued that on, but that's the way it is, because I need to clean up these nubs, otherwise my missile will not sit on it properly. And that's why it's very important to pay attention to detail as you're going along. You guys might notice sometimes I'm a little bit rushed and I'm doing my stuff. I do want to do a 1 hour video every time. And sometimes that makes me in a little bit of a hurry to actually finish a little project. Okay, missile and pod are on. I'm just going to leave that for a minute, let that glue set. and I'll put my AMRAAM on this wing here. Okay, like that. And there we have our AMRAAM on. Now, the tendency, if you don't have glue that's really holding quickly, this will have a tendency to just roll right off and fall on the floor on you. So if you can, sometimes you can just hold it like this, let that glue set, and that'll hold the missile on the wing for you. I'm just going to turn this around because this will be a little bit easier to work on this side for me. Let's put some more glue on this pod. And get this guy set back in his home. Again, make sure it's straight up and down. Yep. One final missile. Our final AMRAAM. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Now, with that done, that means the actual assembly is complete. The actual assembly of the plane is now done. It's finished. So, that's it. The only thing I got left to do is re-glue my pin in on the front. This guy right there. Oh, now it's on the floor, it's gone. So I don't have the pin going on the front. Oh well, that happens. My plane is not perfect. So the only thing left to do is I need to put my wings on. That's the wrong side. This goes in like that, and then this one goes in like this. Okay, our tail fin is going to go in, line up those pins. There we go. Go. And then our canopy. Now I've left the canopy mask on because I need to spray this thing with some flat clear to get all the decals on everything all nice and uniform and looking nice. And then what I'm going to do is spray it with a semi-gloss to give it a little bit of the sheen like it does in real life. The flat clear, I actually want to show you guys, and I'm going to show you with the tail. Okay, I'll take this back off. Okay, I want to show you guys with the tail the reason why I do it and everything like that. Okay, now I just realized I need to mask off my little back window too before I do this, otherwise my back window is going to look like crap. So anyway, I'll just put this aside here. And I'll change the camera. And I'll show you why and what this does, okay? Okay, so we have this. And if I get this in the right light, you could see that the decals have a sheen to them that's just a little bit different than the paint. You can see the carrier film in between there, right? Especially around here, this spot right here. Okay, right there. See that edge going along there and right here? You can see that. Okay, see that in the right light. Okay, it's got a different sheen to it than the rest of it. Even though I've sprayed this completely with a semi-gloss, it still does that. Okay, so I'm going to spray it with the flat. Okay, grab this, just put it on here so I don't paint my fingers, and I'm going to spray it with the flat clear. Okay, I'm going to show you guys. Okay, now the whole thing is really shiny, so we're just going to let that sit for a minute and let the flatten. Okay, let that do its thing. In the meantime, I'm going to mask off this little guy here because I don't want to paint flat clear on him. I don't have to be precise with it. It's not that important for getting coverage, but I do want to make that smaller. Now with all the missiles on there, it's a little bit more, where do I pick this thing up by? I need just a little piece back there now. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you guys today was what I do with the canopy with that the parting lines that they do on them. Okay, that's good, just like that. And put this back in. There we go. Okay, so he's ready for a flat clear. Okay, so he's been flat coated. He's got a flat coat, yes. Okay, how's this one looking? Now, this could use a second coat. This is now flat. You can still see right there, you can still see that, which means I need another coat on that if I really want to get rid of it. Okay, which I'm going to do, a second coat. Tail fins are always the ones that need it the most, I find. Okay, so let that dry. Now it's got the second coat on there. Okay, canopy. I want to show you guys how to get rid of that parting line. Okay, I know there's other YouTube videos out there, you guys show this, but I'll just show you guys how I do it so that you have an idea. Okay, I'm sure you guys already probably have watched lots of videos on how to do it, but I'll just show you my process. Grab my Dremel, okay, with the buffing wheel on it, okay, and I use my razor glass file. I believe they actually call this a gate remover, but it's a glass file. Okay, I love it. It's awesome. I can get rid of this. Okay. All right. So you guys should be able to see the parting line in the middle there. If I get this in the right light, you can see it right down the center. There's a parting line. In the mold process, they did that. Okay. So we got to get rid of that. Some guys will take a knife and they'll scrape it away across there. I like to use the razor file because it catches the edge really nice. You can hear it. You hear that on the edge there as it catches that edge. And we just go along that seam. Get it down so it feels almost like that's gone. Just keep working it until it's flat. Obviously we're scratching the plastic with it. That's par for the course. Just don't go around it like this and don't create scratches that you don't need to. Okay? So feeling it with my thumbnail, feels pretty close. The nice thing about this particular, I don't know if other glass files are more aggressive than this one as far as scratches, but this one makes very fine scratches, which is really nice. It doesn't do too much. So I'm just finding a little bit more that's a little stubborn up top here. That feels pretty good. Okay, so we've now got a nice blurry spot at the top there, which doesn't look very good, does it? So we've got to clean that up. So what I like to do is two different sanding sponges, a 6,000 grit and an 8,000. So my 6,000, I'm just going to go across here. Same kind of thing. And that's cleaned it up a little bit. And now I'll go 8,000. I suppose you could go up to 10,000 if you have it, but I don't find it necessary. Now that's almost fixed, but we need to step it up. And that's where I'm going to use Tamiya's polishing compound. And I like to make sure there's not any dried stuff on the tip that I'm going to squeeze out of this, because it is easy to, this stuff gets dried and then you try and buff in a very hard piece of compound, and that's not very good for it. This is plastic we're dealing with. Okay, so there we go. Make sure I make a mess with it. That's important. It's important to make a mess. Now, if you've got a Dremel like me, these things spin at really high, fast speed, right? We don't want fast speed because speed equals heat, and, well, guess what? Heat equals melted plastic. So you want to go slow, and you want to kind of prevent splattering all over your bench, right? So I'm just going to pull out my garbage can here just to get the initial amount. I'm just going to put it on the very lowest speed, okay? And start working it in. See, it's just splattered up in my face, okay? And we're just going to let it do its thing along this edge. You know, this is buffing infinitely times faster than you could with your hand. Again, we don't want heat, right? So once all your compound's gone, you can give it a bit of a wipe. I should be using a microfiber cloth, but this is just my demonstration piece. I won't actually be using this. So, get a little more. I have found for my use, and my purposes, 2, maybe 3 times doing this is all I need to get this thing looking good enough so that when you see this sitting on a shelf, you don't notice anything. I am pressing a little bit hard. I am trying to buff this thing after all, so I'm pressing a little bit hard, but not so hard I'm gonna, you know, I'm not really heaving down on it. If you feel like you're not really getting that much out of it, you can let off the pressure, let the thing speed up a little bit. Take your time, have patience. Okay? Grab my microfiber cloth to clean this off. And there we have it. That looks pretty good. I could do another pass on it, maybe up here just at the top especially, but that's not bad. That parting line is pretty much gone, right? Let me try and get this in the middle here. That is looking a heck of a lot better when this is sitting on your shelf. That parting line is basically disappeared. You're not going to see that, right? And that's exactly what I did with the other one. Okay. So, like I said, I just wanted to show you guys that little process that I do on getting rid of that parting line on that. So, let's look at our tail fin again. Now that it's been a couple of minutes, I'll show you guys again. Our little line there is almost completely gone because of the flat. Basically can't see it anymore. You really got to look to find it. You got to be purposely looking for it to find it if you want to see that. Okay, and that's the beauty of laying down a flat clear first. But like I said, I want to do a semi-gloss on this. Where did I put my semi-gloss? Right here, TS79. So I'm going to do semi-gloss on it. Because these things do have a bit of a sheen to them, so semi-gloss I think is the way to go for this guy. I believe a semi-gloss is a little more realistic and semi-gloss on his tail also. Tail there, and we wait because that is pretty much done. I mentioned it in my last video that I think I'm going to be no longer streaming live on Twitch for my videos. Just my viewership on Twitch is not there. It's a lot of effort for really no gain at all, right? So I think this is probably going to be my last live session on Twitch. Obviously this content is just not popular enough, so don't have viewers. So there we go. Now the paint is still really, you know, it's still really super tacky, so I don't want to really touch it too much, but I can, yeah. Excuse me, just touching the mask on there, it's still really tacky, but I can start to peel this up. There we go. Looks good. Yeah, it's getting dry to the touch. Maybe not back here, but it's getting there. Don't be pulling the plane around. There we go. Now it's just the engine nozzle. Tape that would rather rip than actually come off. There we go. One last little part has to come off. Let's find the edge of it. Of course it's on that side. There. It is still a little tacky, but that's all right. It's dry enough. Dry enough. All right, let's see. Tail fin. Yep, that's dry. There we go. Put the tail fin in. It is still a little tacky, so I'm holding it very lightly. Don't want fingerprints on it. That would be kind of counterproductive. There we go. Oh, not quite. Not quite down all the way. There we go. Alright, there we are. F-16 Aggressor is finished. All done. Just like that. Let me change the camera and get a better look at it. There we go. So engine all installed. Just like that. Well, thank you very much. More missiles underneath. Intake. All that good stuff. Finally finished. Again, thank you very much. Yeah, not bad. It's a good kit to build. It went together really nicely. I don't really have any complaints about it. Yeah, other than, you know, the limited information on the ordnance because of this particular one being this particular build is the Aggressor, so they don't this particular version here, it's just the way it is, right? So anyway, that's it. We're finished, and so that's where I'm going to leave it for today. Next build is going to be an F-22 Raptor, which a buddy of mine has asked me to build for him, and so I'm going to be doing that next. That'll be the Hasegawa F-22 1/48 scale. That'll be next. So anyway, again, this is where I'm going to leave it for today, guys. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out. Check out the description box below and see my links down there, and check those out too if you feel like. So once again, guys, thanks, and we'll see you all in the next one.